Today I'm going to tell you how I ended up as a 19-year-old taking care of my partner who had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. You heard that right. I was in a relationship with someone who had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's cancer, if you don't know what I'm talking about. This relationship was never good, never sturdy, never stable, but they were a lazy person, they were an abusive person, they were manipulative and controlling. All of this started with me not being allowed to see my friends, or I was called a slirt or a her, doesn't matter the gender. If I was going around boys, I was accused of sleeping with them. If I was going around girls, I was accused of sleeping with them. There were several occasions when I was living with this person and their parent, because they still lived at home at the ripe old age of 26. There were several occasions where this person found out I wanted to go and hang out with my friends that I had before them and punched a wall to prevent me from leaving. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. In their mom's house. Several times. So I just stopped seeing my friends altogether. Our relationship was very chaotic and dramatic, but I was escaping and being no contact with my family for the first time after just getting out of the hospital for trying to. I remember, I'll never forget the ride home. My mom picked me up and I had 8 new medications, and she went and took me to the prescription to get them filled and then told me best of luck and dropped me off at my apartment, essentially. It was really warm and fuzzy. It made me feel really good. Anyways, the only people I had to rely on in my support system were people I met in the ward, in the Grippy Sock vacation place. And they tell you not to make friends there, but when you're a young adult who literally lost all their friends because everyone just thought you you have to draw support from somewhere, especially if you're hyper social like I am. I love to socialize with people. I love to talk to people. I have a platform for that reason. All that to be said, I started inviting the people from the Grippy Sock place to my house. Now, I tell you guys a story about a stalker, and I actually got my stalker from the Grippy Sock vacation place, but this story is not about him. The reason I got in a relationship with this girl, yes, it was a girl, was because she saved me from my stalker boy. Stalker boy tried to smurfricate me with a schmillo, and when I finally got up, because I think he thought he had ended my existence, I got to my phone and I said, SOS, come to me now. This person didn't live locally to me, but she was visiting with another friend from the Grippy Sock vacation place, and so they both headed to my place. And until then, I convinced my stalker that I was in love with him and that we were going to be a great couple so that he wouldn't try to again. Later on down the line, I would look my stalker up, and he actually has SA charges against his minor child. So I made a great choice getting the fuck away from all that. Is he in jail? No, his mama keeps bailing him out. Anyways, I digress. He is a privileged white man, so it all adds up. Anyways, continuing forward with the story, I got in this very turbulent relationship because homegirl showed up to save me from scary man. At that point, I went to therapy. I had group therapy because I had just gotten out of the hospital for trying to murder myself, for trying to exit stage left, as I like to call it. And I went to therapy with altercation marks all over my neck. They asked me what happened to me last night and why I looked like that, and I said someone tried to. My counselors were obviously very concerned in this group counselor setting, and they made me stay afterwards to tell them what had happened. They encouraged me to file a police report, and I told them it wasn't that serious. I was on a lot of anti-anxiety medications, and they can tend to make you feel like nothing is a big deal. That's kind of their whole job. And the level to which I was on, I literally probably could have got hit by a bus and been fine. I digress. So, Girly Pop saved me from Scary Boy. And Scary Stalker Boy started stalking me more and leaving me roses and following me to work. And so Girly Pop started staying the night with me. I say Girly Pop, but she's not a Girly Pop. She's like Girly Pop. So anyways, definitely wasn't my type. Definitely didn't think I was gay. But what had actually happened was they were using this time of vulnerability in my life to groom me. I was a young 19-year-old, and they were 26. All that to be said, I would take my medications, they would kind of hang out, we would chill, and then they would pull little passes at me, trying to kiss me, trying to hold my hand, and I'd be like, listen, bro, I'm not gay. After spending a lot of time together, I got this speech on the way to a festival, and it was like, hey, I really like you, and I'm amazed by your resiliency, and I really want to be with you because I think you're amazing, and I wish you would just give us a try because I'm very attracted to you. No one recently in my life had been that nice to me, so it kind of took me aback and softened me a bit because I didn't have contact with my parents, really. Kind of, sort of. We had a very surface level relationship, and nobody spoke to me that way or told me anything nice about myself. Most of my friends were scared of me after I tried to, because the way I did it, I left huge scars all over my body, and it was very scary to them. All that to be said, she kissed me on that car ride on the way to that festival, and then after that festival, we stopped by a liquor store, even though I wasn't of age, and she asked me what bottle I wanted. So we got some liquor. We went back to my family's house, and I started getting very giggly and probably drank entirely too much, and she did things to me. My therapists all say that this was SA. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know. She tried to initiate the act, said she wanted to do something to me, and I said, no, like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know. This makes me feel awkward. No. Until they just kept persisting, until I just kind of gave in. This went on forever. It wasn't comfortable. I told them it wasn't, and still, whatever. It happened anyway. The next day I woke up, and she told me I was gay. Yes, I know now at 30 years old that's not how it works, but that's what happened. I guess after all the trauma I had been through, I just wanted to live in denial and think that it was indeed my choice. So I started a relationship based off of that. The relationship was not good. Could you imagine that the person that starts a relationship that way is probably not a good person? After a week of being together, she invited me to go live with her, and because I didn't know what the hell I was doing in my life, and she said she could get me a job and I could just stay with her, I was like, why not? So we went home to meet her mom, and she was pretty chill until she wasn't. Turns out crazy runs in the family. I don't fucking know. No, yeah, I know. Crazy runs in the family. All that to be said, I started to live with them in their townhome, but I was also expected to maintain a full-time job, pay for everything that me and my partner needed. She wasn't expected to maintain a full-time job, by the way. Me at 19 years old and her at 26. Clean the entire house and meal prep and cook for everybody and take care of the dogs. Now, I did bring a dog into the situation, but don't worry, she would shortly force me to get rid of it, despite that being the only thing that I really had that was my own. But I was independent, vibing out, living my best life in Frisco, Plano, Texas, just all over the damn place. I would go to the mall by myself, and I was just really hyper independent. I was still driving back then and like living my best life. This relationship was very turbulent and not healthy at all. I would find things that just were absolutely unacceptable in the relationship, and I was still healing from my own experience. Meanwhile, they had a lot of mental health conditions, including like schizophrenia. At some points, this person was telling me like their mind was telling them to just end themselves, and I would have to talk them off that ledge, also not fully healed and convinced that I wanted to participate in life. And if I ever said I didn't want to be a part of the relationship anymore, they would chug an entire bottle of their prescribed medications until I had to gag them until the EMTs got there. This was when I still had my EMT's license, so I would do all of the treatment and medical care that I could and knew to do without any equipment. It was very scary. This happened 3 fucking times. And it was always a threat to me leaving and not wanting to participate in the relationship anymore. I also really never got used to all the encounters we would have in the bedroom, and it would make me extremely uncomfortable and unhappy. But they told me it was just because I had never been with a girl before and that was all normal. Turns out it's not. Anyways, we had this very turbulent relationship, and we were forced to move out eventually because the mom got a boyfriend or had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend and her were doing great and wanted to get married. So she was like, you're gonna take care of my daughter, get the fuck out and find an apartment. When I was scared and wasn't moving quick enough because I was about to be responsible for a whole ass adult who didn't have a job, she found one for me, forced me to go into the office, and put both of our names on the apartment along with hers. So here I am living with this person that doesn't contribute, isn't nice to me, doesn't let me see my friends, and now we're moving into this apartment in the worst street in Dallas. We lived off of Midland. If you know where Midland is, it's not great. And every night I had to watch Family Guy just to fall asleep because I was fucking terrified living there. But if I could laugh and watch Family Guy, I could forget that there was probably people doing drug deals outside the window. Hold on, there are more parts to the story and it does get crazier, and I'm gonna give you it all today because I hate when people make you wait for parts, and this is all fucking true. And also, I'm not defaming anybody. I haven't mentioned anyone's names. If you want to identify yourself, that's your problem, but I definitely wouldn't if I were you, because this doesn't make you look so good, and it's definitely the truth. And all your friends are my friends now, and they back me up, and they know because they were there. Anyways,